Hello and welcome to 10 Minute Tabletop. I'm Devin.
And I'm Darren.
And here are the biggest stories in tabletop gaming from the past week in 10 minutes or less so you can get back to playing the game.
Our first story today is Kobold Press adds 400 new monsters to D&D Beyond. So Kobold Press is well known for making their 5e supplements. They help Wizards of the Coast with The Rise of Tiamat and The Princes of Apocalypse and have created a bunch of campaign settings like Midgard and Zobek. And their monster manual, A Tome of Beasts, which originally came out in 2016, is the biggest thing they've ever done and their bestseller to this day. And it's now available on D&D Beyond, adding hundreds of new monster stat blocks to 5th edition. And this will be like an updated version with streamlined mechanics, new monster art, and tables that organize the creatures by challenge rating, creature type, and terrain.
There's actually something else that kind of happened here before we talk about why this is important is this felt like it was leaked this morning because a lot of people were sharing the link saying like, oh my gosh, Tome of Beasts is now on D&D Beyond. And everyone just found the link because it was exposed. And this is before the announcement came out. Now, likely that this was like, hey, we're going to set everything live before the announcement goes out. Some people are saying like, oh, D&D didn't mean to launch this early. You know, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But we had Humblewood, the Dungeon Dudes, Dungeons of Drakheim. We had Critical Role. So this is like the fourth, I think, third-party content to be on D&D. Now, what's really important about this is Wizards of the Coast is working with Kobold Press. Kobold Press is putting out essentially a D&D competitor, Tales of Valiant, that came out of the OGL crisis. OGL crisis. It's so funny, like the drama in these terms. But they're creating essentially like a high fantasy competitor for D&D. But Wizards of the Coast still wants to work with them on third-party content in D&D Beyond.
Wizards of the Coast doesn't have to have Kobold Press's content on their website, but because
they want to.
Exactly. So I think this just shows an effort of goodwill to be a better community partner. And so even though they are coming out with their competitor in like May 2024 is the set release date for it, they still, a beloved content creator in this space, they still want to include on their website.
Yeah, and I assume this is great for Kobold Press because like it is a way for their digital product to be available to a larger audience. Yeah. That's got to be some nice money in the bank. But this does seem like, hey, like Wizards of the Coast is playing really well with others because they are like, yeah, we want you on the platform. It's going to be good for D&D, but it's also going to be great for Kobold Press.
Yeah, and good for us.
And good for us.
Yeah.
This one's for the Kidults. The D&D Legos are here.
Yes, another week, another D&D licensing partnership, but this time it's with Legos, except this time it's a 3,745-piece D&D set, but it comes with its own playable one-shot adventure, so that's really, really cool. It's called the Red Dragon Tail set, and it was actually inspired by a design created by a fan named Lucas Bolt, so if you check him out on Instagram, he does a lot of other cool fan designs for Legos.
But it does have a hefty price tag at $360.
Yes.
Now, if you're a Lego fan, that's nothing. I mean, the Millennium Falcon was way more than that.
It's like $3,000.
Why is this important? D&D really wants to expand its toy line. Hasbro wants D&D to expand its toy line. Hasbro does toys great. I don't know if you're familiar with the term kidult, but kidult is like an adult who spends money on things that are normally for kids.
Yeah,
right?
I may not be familiar with it, but I'm pretty sure I am.
I've been to your house. You are a kidult.
Yeah, okay.
1/4 of toy sales are from adults buying toys for themselves.
Me thinking of my bank account, I'm like, checks out. Checks out.
That's because like, hey, like millennials have a discretionary spending. We can't afford to buy houses, but we can buy things that bring us joy.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't afford the Millennium Falcon when I was a kid, but with my adult money, I'm going to get it now.
Exactly, right? But also, 3 in 10 millennials have kids. And millennials are set to inherit a huge amount of money as boomers begin to unalive. Because of age. There's like $1 trillion worth of inheritance that's going to be coming down to the millennial generation. I don't think I'm going to see that. But D&D, Hasbro has seen this is a great opportunity. You do Lego Dungeons & Dragons with your kids. That's a nostalgia point for that child now. So when they get older, they have a tenet to kind of draw upon Dungeons and Dragons when they get old, like remember building Legos with their parents. So this is the cycle that they're trying to introduce with partnerships like this for their toys.
Yeah, and it's not just another Lego set. It does come with like an interactive adventure that you can kind of like wrap the whole family in and like use the set itself to play in this adventure, which is pretty cool.
Now, listen, Lego, if you're listening, we'll run a one-shot using this if you send it to us.
Just give us one.
So, one shot only costs you $360. Our next story.
Aconyte Books announces the Welcome to Arkham Guidebook. This is a setting book, okay, that can be used in any game that leverages Arkham, 1920s, Lovecraftian lore. This guidebook will offer readers over 500 illustrations and 115 detailed descriptions of 115 locations within Arkham. And this book is great for any of the games like Call of Cthulhu, Trail of Cthulhu, Actung, Delta Green, and all different H.P. Lovecraft style games.
Yeah, I had to unwind a bunch of things. Thank you to Nate and Chrono, who are two game masters inside of the Start Playing Discord, because they helped me figure out all the connections to this. So Chaosium is the creator of Arkham Horror. Arkham Horror is a board game. Chaosium is also the creator of Call of Cthulhu. They created Arkham Horror originally. Now, Asmodee is a board game publisher and games publisher who owns Arkham Horror, the board game now, and the card game. Now, Asmodee also owns Edge Studios. Edge Studios is the publisher that is making the Arkham Horror tabletop role-playing game. Asmodee also owns Aconyte. Aconyte Books is who is creating this setting guide. So it's very funny that and now also Aconyte has a partnership with Chaosium in creating books too. So it's very incestuous, these kind of relations. But what's really interesting about this and why this is important is this is not a tabletop RPG setting supplement because it's not for any tabletop RPG.
Okay, I'm following you, right? It's all connected, all coming together, but this is a system-agnostic setting book. So ostensibly, this can be used for any of their H.P. Lovecraft style games, which is really, really cool because it's not tied to like, hey, this is the exact
Call of Cthulhu, or, you know.
It's like, if you want to play any of our games, here's just a guide that kind of explains like the lore, the IP, and helps you really like immerse yourself in that world. And this as well, I mean, I would love to see other setting agnostic books come out that can really put different game hats on.
Yeah.
I
mean, usually a tabletop RPG setting guide also includes like, hey, here's the special classes for this world. Here is the monsters and here's the stat blocks for them. But instead, like seeing a setting and agnostic book that says like, nope, this is who's here. And you could just create whatever stat blocks you want. You can create any rules for any of the things in there. But essentially, it's a jumping off point. It's an entire book of inspiration to run games in a certain world, a certain setting. And I don't see a lot of these. You know, every setting book I've ever seen recently, I mean, you said something really, really great, which is like, here's the X-Men power list, right? Or like those books that's like the X-Men encyclopedia.
Yeah, like the Ultimate Guide or like the Game of Thrones, like history lore book that just like helps you better understand the world if you want to step into that world.
And this is for like a fictional game world, right?
Yeah.
So this is great. I would love to see more of this. Like even if you were to play like Star Wars, any of like the Fantasy Flight games or the Star Wars D6 or Star Wars 5e, you could use the Star Wars canon books as the lore setting, right? You would, because you're trying to play in a Star Wars world.
Yeah, like a nice condensed, succinct version of like what you'll need to know going into this.
But imagine if you had something like this for, you know, another property that you really loved, you know, like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy setting guide, or there's so much out there, but we haven't really seen that yet. And this feels like it's the first step in that direction.
Yeah.
That's all the news we have for you, but one special announcement. Total Party Chill's newest season of This Game is Cursed comes out this week.
Whoop, whoop.
So make sure to subscribe, like, hit the bell, any of those things, so that you'll be the first to know. You see the cops just get gone.
What about the people inside?
Actually, well, you know, I'll roll for them.
Yeah, you fucking monster.
I don't like them.
All right, that's a one. Okay.
Oh no.
Didn't make it. I've had enough of this clown. Let's start throwing daggers at him.
That says 20.
Oh, no.
Oh!
Let's go.
Motherfucker.
Our work here is done. End of season 2.
So now he has disadvantage on attacks against anyone else.
And no, it's not a bonus action. I just get it all the time.
You get it all the time?
All the time.
All the time?
All the time.
You're raging? Oh, shit.
Ah. Well. Oh. Well, okay.
And if you want to support the show, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/
Total Party Chill.
Or you can also support us by sharing this with your friends, your families, your enemies, anyone who will listen. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.